At 38 years old, Michael was earning $132,000 a year in a senior operations role in Austin. Good salary, strong resume, respected internally. But he felt something strange. He had grown, he had specialized, he had authority, yet his income felt capped. Not because he lacked skill, because of positioning. Here's what most professionals don't realize. You can become highly skilled and still be underpriced. Michael had spent years building operational excellence, cost reduction systems, vendor optimization, team performance frameworks. But he worked inside a mid-sized company, mid-sized budgets, mid-sized exposure, mid-sized compensation bands. And compensation bands matter, even if you perform at a $200K level. If your company's pay band tops at $145K, that's your ceiling. Michael discovered this accidentally. A recruiter reached out and asked, "What's your current compensation?" He answered honestly. Then the recruiter said something that stuck. For someone managing $18 million in annual operational oversight, you're under market. Under market. That phrase stayed in his head. He wasn't underskilled, he was underpositioned in the wrong compensation ecosystem. So he began analyzing something deeper: market positioning. He realized that high-paying firms weren't just looking for operators. They were looking for operators who could speak executive language, risk-adjusted return, scalability modeling, margin optimization, capital allocation impact. Michael understood operations deeply, but he didn't always articulate it in financial terms. That was the gap. He wasn't invisible, he just wasn't framed correctly. So he made a deliberate shift. He rewrote his resume completely. Instead of listing responsibilities, he quantified enterprise impact. Not managed 12-person operations team, but oversaw $18 million operational budget, implemented margin optimization systems that increased EBITDA by 4.2%. Language transforms perception. Perception transforms pricing. He didn't apply everywhere, he targeted larger firms, companies operating at $100 million plus scale, because scale changes compensation brackets. If you manage $5 million impact, pay stays moderate. If you manage $50 million exposure, pay scales. Michael also prepared differently. He stopped preparing to get the job. He prepared to demonstrate enterprise value. He studied public financial statements of target companies, identified margin weaknesses, prepared hypothetical optimization suggestions. He wasn't interviewing as an employee, he was positioning as a value multiplier. That shift in confidence changed everything. During one final interview at a national logistics company, a VP asked, "Why should we bring you in at a higher compensation level?" Michael didn't talk about effort. He said calmly, "If I improve margin by even 1% on your $240 million revenue base, that's $2.4 million. My compensation becomes insignificant relative to that leverage." Silence. Then nods. That's positioning. Not arrogance, clarity. And that clarity separates six-figure professionals from high six-figure professionals. Because once you understand your leverage in enterprise terms, you stop thinking in salary terms. But the real transformation was psychological. Michael stopped identifying as Senior Operations Manager. He identified as Enterprise Margin Optimizer. Identity shapes negotiation power, and negotiation power shapes income. The offer came in. The offer didn't come immediately. There were 2 more interviews, board-level review, compensation discussion. But this time, Michael wasn't nervous, because he understood leverage. And when you understand leverage, you negotiate differently. The formal offer arrived. $158,000 base salary, performance bonus up to 20%. equity participation after 12 months, from $132,000 to $158,000 base, $26,000 increase immediately, with bonus potential pushing total compensation near $185,000. But here's the real story. This wasn't just about a raise, it was about ecosystem shift. Michael didn't suddenly become smarter. He moved from a mid-sized company with limited compensation bands to a large-scale enterprise with higher financial exposure. Higher exposure equals higher compensation brackets. That's a rule most professionals ignore. If you operate in a small pond, even strong performance has limits. If you operate in a large ecosystem, your leverage multiplies. Because optimizing 1% in a $20 million company is $200,000. Optimizing 1% in a $240 million company is $2.4 million. Same skill, different environment, massive pay difference. That's positioning. And here's the deeper psychological lesson. Most employees think growth is vertical, promotion, title change, internal ladder. But real growth is lateral into larger arenas. Michael didn't climb higher inside his old company. He moved into a bigger game. And bigger games pay differently. Within his first year, he implemented a margin efficiency system that improved operational profitability by 2.3%. On a $240 million revenue base, that's over $5 million impact. His bonus paid out fully. Total compensation that year exceeded $192,000. From $132K to nearly $192K in under 18 months. That's a $60,000 income increase, without doubling hours, without burnout, without gambling, just positioning. And here's something uncomfortable for you. Are you underpaid? Or are you operating inside a small compensation ecosystem? Because even elite performance inside a capped structure stays capped. Michael once thought he needed another certification, another year, another internal promotion. He didn't. He needed a larger arena. And once he understood that, his ceiling expanded. Now he wasn't saving $3,000 per month, he was investing $8,000 to $10,000 monthly between salary, bonus, and equity. Over 20 years at 8% growth? That difference becomes generational wealth territory. All because he changed positioning. Not hustle, not motivation, positioning. Income doesn't just follow skill, it follows scale. If your skill impacts larger numbers, your compensation scales. If you want 6 figures and beyond, stop thinking only about growth inside your current environment. Start thinking about the size of the arena you're playing in. If you've been working hard for years, but your income feels capped, it may not be your effort. It may be your ecosystem. Subscribe to Rich Mind Talk, because we don't just talk about money, we teach leverage, positioning, and financial authority.